And today I have a special Spirit of Matter episode where I'm gonna look at gravitational waves and the history of discovery and development of gravitational waves. I'm going to look at the years where it was discovered, and I'm going to look at some of the main people who contributed to the discovery at their natal charts. Now I just put the charts on. I haven't looked at them. I'm going to do this hands-on right now, as I do with Spirit of Matter, and we'll see if we can, live have any predictions or any line. And of course, I begin with predictions. So gravity, we were used to think about it as a power, so gravity, power, Pluto. And I'm taking a look at the outer planets because this is a generational phenomena. Um, so what I won't see is like, or I might see, special conjunction of planets with inner planets, only in the charts maybe. But what I will see is where were the outer planets. So Pluto, power, waves. Waves have to do with the nervous system. So I would expect anything from Mercury to Uranus, from Gemini, Virgo, Aquarius. Of course, this was not a generation of Pluto in Aquarius, so I wouldn't be expecting that. Um, I am predicting for there to be something with gravitational waves, some maybe some applied use or some further discoveries of, in general, powers, anything Pluto as waves, in Pluto in Aquarius, and this is why I'm doing this. I'm just having a recount. So those will be my predictions. For the natal charts, I'm expecting 12 houses that are either somehow linked with Pluto or with Aquarius, Pluto, Uranus. I'd expect a Pluto Uranus. I can't say that just by peeking I saw something with Neptune, and I'll have to see how do I interpret it as we go. So Neptune, perhaps a discovery going viral, but you know, let's see. Um, let's begin. So gravitational waves are disturbances or ripples in the curvature of space-time, generated by accelerated masses that propagate as waves outwards from their source at the speed of light. Okay, let's try to make this one simple. um, so the curvature of something that disturbs the curvature of space, because we're talking about space, we measure length with time in space, but there is also, this is not light years kind of, it's not a distance kind of a time, it's an actual time. And Einstein predicted from his theory um, that the way time is just flexible around the cosmos, and then there are of course rules around that, but it's not rigid. And so mass can affect time. Um, mm, mm, mm. And when mass disturbs time, when we have acceleration of masses, which is interesting, right now we have another acceleration of mass. This is from our vantage point, Mars is in Gemini, and Mars is fast and Gemini is fast. So we have like excessive speed. And funnily enough, Mars was squaring Neptune. So interesting. Um, and so this accelerated mass creates a sort of a wave um, from their source at the speed of light. So this wave is fast enough. It's at the speed of light. It's fast enough to affect the relations between, how do you say it? Planets and stars and anything in the cosmos. This is how I get it. I'm gonna try to kind of see if I can get it to be any simpler. Well, it it basically, what I see it is like if you have a couple of bodies and they move fast enough. This is what, we have in the cosmos, right? Bodies rotating, moving fast enough, and they cause, they affect the space-time tissue um, of the universe, of the cosmos, of the galaxies, and the way in which the planets, let's say, for example, the way in which the moon, maybe I'm completely wrong, okay? But I love to try do these thought experiments to make sure that I understand, and then if I don't understand, you can correct me, and this may or may not affect the prediction. So, for example, the way that the moon would affect the waves, right? The sea level is through gravitational waves. This is also why when, was discussing earthquake, I predict that, planets can affect each other and can affect earthquakes on Earth through, for example, gravitational waves. Now, yesterday I was doing Larry Loudon, and this is a theory, this is all fun and good, but we'll see the development of technology allowed us to observe these phenomena. So, gravitational waves were first proposed by Oliver Heaviside, which is a really funny name, in 1893, and later by Henry Poincaré, I hope that I'm pronouncing it right, in 1985. So let's look at this. First of all, let's look at the time. 1893. So I'm going to go to the natal chart of 1893. 1893. Not 1993. No, no, no. 1893. Come on. 74. 74. There it is. And again, I'm looking at the outer planets. I don't believe I will see anything inner planets. So we got Uranus there in Scorpio. Yes, we got Uranus there in Scorpio. The sun is not the matter because I just picked one day of the year, so the personal planets are not going to give me much. And we have Pluto conjuncting Neptune in Gemini. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is, well, for us, we know Mercury is the nervous system, but how does the nervous system operate? Electric voltage, right? But what else do we have in our brain? Waves, right? Alpha waves, beta waves. Um, the energy form is waves. So Pluto in Gemini, an air sign, conjuncting Neptune, and this is interesting to me. And this is, well, here it is squares Saturn, and I tend to believe this had an effect because Saturn is an outer planet. Saturn is in Libra, so a trine, sorry. So a touch between Pluto and Saturn can mean that there is a transformation around um, around structure, or a transformation around how Saturn balances things, how structure balances things. So definitely, if I take a look at gravitational waves, um, it has an explanatory force as to, for example, why would the moon affect, you know, the sea levels, and why would it vary around time? So it's not just the location of the moon, but the waves that literally translate into sea waves. So this is a different understanding of something. It has greater explanatory force. Um, mm, 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 mm. Woo! Oh my god! Okay. The cat spilled the coffee. You spilled my coffee. You want to have this challah. Oh my gosh. He's really persistent around this. Wow. Okay. So this is for this chart. I don't know if I get the Neptune is dissolution of boundaries. Neptune is the great vast. So yes, Neptune can be a space thing. So that would be interesting because it is about the great vast. Uranus there is just okay. Uranus is just in Scorpio. I can't. Maybe you can tell me. I mean, it is a sign that rules, that Pluto is ruling modernly. I might get back to this chart. But let's get to the chart of the person who contributed to the discovery. Granted that there was no plagiarism, right? I mean, hey, these things can happen. So let's see. Gravitational waves. We have Oliver Heaviside. So granted that he was the discoverer, at least he was known by that. So we also have to take this into consideration. And look at this chart. We don't have the ascendant, so I cannot do the 12 and the houses thingy. But I can see that the context is Pluto conjuncting Uranus. And Uranus are, of course, can also relate to scientific discoveries. Pluto, something to do with, the power, the nuclei. The also for those who discovered the not genetics, like yes, oh gosh, like the tiny molecules and like micro 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 aspects of things. Because Pluto gets us something at the nuclei, at the core level, and Uranus there, that would be something that I would expect, right? Scientific discovery about what we have considered as power. So here, gravitational, gravity. What is more power than gravity? And we have a scientific discover about gravity. And Uranus in itself translate things to wave frequencies rather than to matter, right? It is ruling air, but it also is electric current, the mass consciousness, something that revolutionizes. And Pluto and Uranus are both revolutionary. Pluto is about this transformation from the core, and Uranus is about shaking off our understanding of the shaking off a previous reality. So they very much work in alignment with each other. And this definitely is, of course, this was a generational thing, but it's definitely in this generation with the person with the right, natal chart has the potential to have a discovery around gravitational waves. So I don't know if it was in the 12th house, I don't know. But that was something that was there. Neptune was in Pisces then. Um, mm, mm, mm. Well, Neptune in Pisces, Neptune is at home in Pisces, so we can have more clarity about foggy things, or we can have perception about that which is the great vast, the great beyond, and so it can, of course, be space. I mean, oh, of course, right. Um, so, yes, space occupies us with Pisces, but space occupies us with Neptune anyway. Um, and yeah, I'm not going to attempt to translate what I'm not sure I can, right? We have his moon trining this Pluto Uranus conjunction. So definitely it was something that he was feeling on an emotional level, a psychological level. It can be some intuitive discovery for him. And it is in the same house as his Rahu or Keto. Oh gosh, those things. Left and right, those things. But definitely it was something that he was feeling on an emotional level, psychological level, and he could pronounce it. His Mercury, let's take a look at his Mercury. In Gemini, strong Mercury, I see a connection to Saturn. So he could have expressed himself in a very structured manner, or he could have expressed himself around structure, which is again something that we need for science. Yeah, not much more I can say about this. Let's go forward. So, go forward is a bit of going backwards, gravitational waves, um, and then we have another person who offers this theory, proposes this theory, is Henry Poincaré in 1985. So let's look at 1985. 1985. Yes. And I'm just picking a chart from 1985 and I'm looking at the outer planets, the biggies, so I don't have dates. I'm just looking at the concept, the zeitgeist, where we discovered these theories, which is relevant for what we're doing today. That's Pluto and Aquarius. And 1985, still we got Pluto in Gemini, trining Saturn in Aquarius. So having the year of Saturn in Aquarius is a good time for, structurizing sciencey stuff. It is a good timing to establish something or to have a more accepted theory about something that was a guess can receive a structural form, a scientific argument can receive a structural form. The trine with Pluto, so it can be both the intensity at which we propose a theory, but also it can contribute to uh, 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 power forming structure. And at Gemini, it is technology, um, it's something, and it is nervous system, it's something to do with waves. Think about the technology of the telephone, right? Sound waves, okay? So here we have other waves, and eventually there would be sound. So we will hear gravitational waves. We will hear the sound of them. It will be able to be translated into sound, and this is how we will be able to observe. So Venus can be yeah, and Venus was in Pisces, but back then you didn't hear anything, so I don't give overemphasis to this. Venus was squaring Pluto. I don't know. Again, it's a personal planet. It's very transient. Saturn in Aquarius, yes. This trine can create, like a bigger cycle. So this is something to look at. Um, Neptune in Cancer, opposition in Saturn in Capricorn. Opposition, sorry, Uranus and Capricorn. So Uranus and Capricorn, let's take a look at this Uranus and Capricorn, because what is Capricorn structure is also ruled by Saturn, and what is Uranus? Discovery of structural thingies. Uranus is also something that shakes up a structure, and what do we know? 1905, 1904, the Russian Revolution. It was the first revolution, so it was completely changing the structure of something. Back then it was a regime. But if we talk sciencey stuff, it's scientific discovery about the structure. Okay, and Uranus in itself is wavy. So wave, a technology, scientific discovery about a wave of something, about a structure of waves. Oh, a structure of waves. Okay, and this is the same. So, Saturn in Aquarius in itself is structure of waves, and Uranus in Capricorn is structure of waves. And then we have the opposition to Neptune, and Neptune again. Yes, Neptune can be okay science, but you know Uranus is science. Um, and Neptune, yeah, Neptune is dissolution of power. Again, it's beautiful, the dissolution of power, dissolution of the regime, dissolution of the previous structures. The strong thing in Neptune comes from Cancer, so we had this Cancer Capricorn. So of course, the 1905 revolution, the Russian Revolution. But in terms of sciencey stuff, it can create a bit of a difficult to accept the theory because, but also what is Neptune is something going viral. So this solution, and then we have the conjunction of Mercury, Mercury visiting Uranus, so like the greatest nervous system, and then the nervous system of the people or communication. So a message about this discovery is going viral. Neptune, okay, Neptune opposite, but it's unclear. There is unclarity. You can't control the way your message will received. Okay, we recently have this had this Mercury Neptune opposition. You're not sure if you can believe anything you see. So rumors spreading, messages spreading, fake news about things, not being sure about the intentions of things. So this is a very initial discovery, very initial exposure. We don't know the nature. So Henry Poincaré in this year, when he exposed stuff about, again, it's not exposure going viral for Mercury here, okay? Mercury is just this transit that was in January or something that year. So it's not that sort of exposure. But it is whatever science's discovery of Uranus could go viral, Neptune, or discovery again about space, about the great vast, about the great beyond. So that's 1905, and now let's go to Henry Poincaré's chart. Henry Poincaré. Poincaré. I'm not sure what's going on. Let's try. Is this? No, this is Mr. Heaviside. Mr. Heaviside discovered gravitational waves, or suggested. No, Henry Poincaré. Poincaré. Oh gosh. Don't laugh at me too much. Laugh at me a little. Do like a TikTok laughing at me doing saying that so I can get views, but don't laugh at me too much. Uh, Uranus and Taurus. So he was born in 1854. Uranus in Taurus. I'm not sure about the years of Industrial Revolution, but we are having another one now, huh? And Pluto was in Taurus. What is Taurus ruled by Venus? Venus is voice, but what is voice? It is also a form of sound waves. Okay, so science and technology is using sound waves. Okay, Pluto in Pluto in Taurus. Matter. Matter. So Pluto going from Gemini. Sorry, not from Gemini. Pluto going from Taurus to Gemini is going from Earth to air. Okay. Pluto in an Earth sign to me means matter. We are dealing with matter. So back then, gravity was matter. We were looking at uh, the power of an existing planet. Okay. Um, Uranus can create a couple of things. First of all, an actual technology materializes, translating waves into matter, so sound waves, anything sound waves. I'm sure if I look at discoveries that year, it would be all around new technologies around sound waves, the ability to hear something, to hear a voice of something. Um, Uranus is in Taurus. Uranus and Taurus can also allocate finances to research, to scientific research. Okay, we also have it right now. So a lot of money going to scientific research, to scientific discovery, to developing of new technologies. Okay, so we can have that. Now you might look later at the year of what actually happened there in history. And of course, it can be about the wave form of matter. It could also be in Capricorn, but the wave form, not of structure, of the way matter is structured, but here the wave form of matter itself. Okay? With Virgo Earth, we have like frequency thing, we have like the chemistry things, With Capricorn, we have the structure of matter. This can also be a sort of chemistry thing. With Taurus, it's like matter itself. So putting waves into matter, of course, it can create earthquakes. So putting waves into matter, or thinking about just matter itself in its wave form, the relation between something that is, like a planet to the energy of the planet. So of course it can be a lot of scientific, astrological discoveries, because astrology is all about looking at the planet and thinking about how it affects us. Um, so like the energy weather, right? The wave weather, the frequency weather of this planet. So where's Neptune? Again in Pisces. So Neptune is in Pisces, is creating it is a sextiling Uranus. That's interesting. Now we're having this Pluto sextile in Neptune for like I don't know how long, but here Neptune is sextiling Uranus. So again, sciencey discoveries about space. Dissolution of boundaries relative to the technology. Okay, I very much suspect that an actual technology that could get us to space was constructed here. Might not have been perfect, but this is the beginning of the ability to travel to space. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, I know that the actual technologies are, after 1900, but yeah, like this is an absolute discoveries that of matter and discoveries of space that could get us to travel to space. If you think about gravitational waves, yes, absolutely. To land on the moon, we need to calculate that the gravity on the moon is not the gravity on Earth, and we need to adjust ourselves with movement, with all the technologies. But yes, it's like, how does technology act in a space where the boundaries are are dissolving? Okay, so gravity is a lot lighter in the cosmos, so we need to calculate that into our technologies. This definitely, like, I definitely see people. I don't know what is punk. I will be really stupid but funny but predictive if I will find out that punk had actually contributed to the discoveries of technologies that would help construct, or the sort of like the engineering that we need to construct, an aircraft, a spacecraft. So yeah, and we do have his ascendant. So his ascendant in Capricorn. Um, okay, structure, finding. Okay, this is interesting in terms of science, because we have Chiron conjuncting his ascendant. Chiron is like the wounded healer on a psychological level, but it means that you heal your wound through finding an alternative medicine. So in terms of the sciencey stuff, and yes, definitely, people who did sciencey stuff felt that in their body, felt that psychologically, like to solve their own problems, they had to do either science or discovery or something. And so in here, he would need to find a new structure to his life to be healthy, to be, psychologically whole. To feel himself, he would need to find a new structure for something. And it also, but is it in a trine with Saturn there in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, his workplace. So he was working at it. Um, and again, the sciencey discovery stuff, it was in his fifth house of pleasure, so it was pleasurable for him. So fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and Mars there is in the ninth. So again, fifth, ninth. Okay, fifth, ninth. Our teaching, our academic background would be something that's pleasurable to us. So he was really, I can't say having a good time when you have Pluto in your fifth, huh? But it was really, you know, pleasurable for him to come with these creative solutions, and though also this was what he was doing for a living. was finding, for his well-being, he had to find a new structure for something, and for his pleasure, he looked at those, cosmology issues, cosmic, cosmic stuff. Where was his Jupiter? Oh, the ruler of his 12th, space, the way we see space, and here is Sagittarius, is rule is in his first. Okay, so literally, to have a cosmology around space, refreshing Jupiter, new way to see space, uh, could give him a sense of personal freedom. Okay, so ruling Sag, freedom. The first house, personal freedom. So tending to his 12th house, having a philosophy from his 12th house, actually contributed to his personal freedom. I don't know his autobiography, and I'm going to stick to the topic here. But you can see how a scientific discovery is made. Okay, a person is downloading. This is something that they need for their well-being, and he also did that for work. So finding structure in the air, for work. They are in the Gemini house, the sixth house. So how is he of service to people? Um, and yeah, see his midheaven is in the 11th, so um, he doesn't have any planets there, but Mars is ruling the ninth, so he would be his agenda or his public work would be to do with the ninth house, with teaching, higher teaching, academic studies, academic research. And Mars, the ninth house, is ruled by Mercury, and it is Virgo. Virgo, again, very much discerning and putting into words that which we cannot speak. Okay, so Virgo could definitely put into words what was there, the waves, sound waves, gravity waves, um, um, that he discovered. He would put that into words. Um, mm, 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 mm. And Mercury is, we have an interesting mutual reception between Mars there in Virgo, Mercury ruled, and Mercury in Aries. Mercury is in Aries is very perceptive and very impulsive. It's very passionate thinker, but I don't see it making any aspects. Um, so it could be that he would find it difficult to maybe publish his theory, but he's known. He's someone that we know today. So perhaps that mutual reception between Mars and Mercury could bring this Mercury about. And this was the fourth house. So fourth house is also his country, like not his family, yes, but his country. Um, so yes, this is all in all very interesting. How the Sun in Taurus, Sun trine in Mars. Yeah, this is what I have to say about him. What really stood out for me, other than the context of the time when he was born, it was he was born in the time to make a discovery about um, the waves in matter, and discoveries about space, and to transform scientific knowledge, and along with that he had to form a new structure, and to form a theory about science of space, about the cosmology, in order to literally gain personal freedom, psychologically. So you can see how the wounds of the person contribute, like your struggle is your teaching in that sense. So let's go back to gravitational waves. Back. Okay. Oh, 1960, 1916. Albert Einstein. I don't think I did 1916, but I have Albert Einstein's, um, which probably you already know. current planets, birth chart of who is this? Is that Mr. Heavy? No, Albert Einstein. So let's look at the timing Einstein was born. Um, 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 um. Pluto still in Taurus, Neptune in Taurus. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Neptune in Taurus. For him, it was the 11th house, but I just want to look at the context of the year that he was born. Um, yeah. Neptune trining. So it's not really trining. Uranus. It's not really an orb there. But it is kind of about to trine Uranus, so this would be an interesting aspect. Um, so Uranus is applying to trine Neptune, and then again, you know, sciencey discoveries, Uranus in Virgo, so definitely sensitivity to frequency, extra sensitivity to frequency even. Uh, Virgo is frequency sensitive as it is. It's sensitive to the frequencies of matter, um, and yeah, literally, you know, the frequencies of matter, and so the scientific discovery about the frequencies of matter. I was thinking, I'm trying to pull out photoelectricity there. No, I won't do that now. So Pluto still in Taurus, Neptune in Taurus. So dissolution of matter and that which is not matter. Matter dissolves the way matter dissolves. So the way matter dissolves, and let's take a look at Saturn because he did a lot about time, and he has this in his 10th house while he's. Oh, let me take a look at this map better. Yeah. So he has the midheaven in Pisces in his 9th house, which is interesting. So that meant that his life path would be, you know, teaching and providing us with theories. Saturn is in his 10th house next to Venus in Aries. Saturn is time. Aries is a new conception of time, and he has Mercury in Aries as well. Um, so he's thinking about times in a new way. He's thinking about time. This is absolutely thinking about time in a new way. It doesn't make any particular conjunction. Um, and Venus, okay, Venus just tells me that the theory can be elegant. But yes, sound waves, but no, this is not anything to do with sound waves here. The structure, oh, maybe yes, the structure of sound. Yes, the structure of voice, the structure of sound. I don't know, he wasn't doing it. Was he doing anything with sound and just doing, or maybe the technology that he was looking at the, you know, the photoelectric thingy. Um, so yeah, he definitely was involved with innovation. Okay, his moon in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. His moon in the 6th house in Sagittarius, at his where he's been of service to humanity, is pulling out this trine with Venus and Saturn. So he's definitely pulling in from his workplace uh, the wisdom of Saturn Venus conjunction. So structural voice, structure of sound, and this is a wave. Sound is wave. Okay, maybe you could have been inspired by, I don't know, listening to a singer and thinking about the structure of the waves, or what waves do in physics or whatnot. But it's not something he was vocal about. Um, 12th house Gemini, ruler in the 10th, again, what he will discover around space. And Gemini's duality. So he had two theory, like his theories of the relativity theory, how things relate. His relativity theory was general and particular, so the small one and the big one. And we have this actually in conjunct between Mercury and Uranus. And Uranus is, the bigger technology. Mercury is like the personal use technology. And with Gemini, we also have a sense of something dual, both in Pisces and in Gemini. But in Gemini, it's like two distinct dual things, and in Pisces, it's like a merging of these duals. So there's something with the two here, okay? So general relativity theory and then particular relativity theory, and time acts differently in both theories. Uh, 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 uh. And Mercury is also, the ruler is also conjuncting his lot of fortune, so there was an act of fate. There was something of fate. He was fated to bring something um, from that 12th house, to download something, and he would see space in a dualistic way, both cognitively Pisces and subconsciously Gemini. So when he would project his thoughts on space, 12th house, um, what he they would be shaped by this filter of Gemini. Okay? If you tuned into other world, it would be shaped by this filter of Gemini. And this filter of Gemini is very good for theories because it is good for bringing something into words. And it is also good for compartmentalizing things. But also, it is good for acknowledging a dissonance of something. Particle wave. Okay, although he denied particle waves, he had a problem with particle waves. Um, Photoelectricity. Okay. Um, and so and then in the 11th house, so the things that he contributed, the contribution that he made, um, was basically Venus ruled. So sound is a lot of, wave stuff. um, mm, 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 mm. Anything more to say about this chart? Yeah. Of course, many people could have been born with this chart, but he had sciencey inclinations, and so with sciencey inclinations, we would pull this stuff from. And we can see the Mercury. Oh, this is something interesting. Because what did I say about, he was like discovering things that would yield to us accepting more quantum-like view of cosmology and reality. But he had problem accepting like even his own theories, and that was the Mercury in conjuncting Uranus. So Uranus is a big sciencey discovery there, and that was his third house, so something he worked on daily. So sciencey discovery, and Neptune in conjunct is kind of like finding it difficult to accept it, finding it difficult to deal with these energies. Like you discovered something, but you're like, no, it can't be. Um, so yeah, so I find that to be interesting. Moving forward, we have gravitational, not juju. Just looking to see what juju was. What is juju? So okay, so for Albert Einstein, he was predicting gravitational waves. So that would be his vocal thing. That would be his Venus thingy. Um, and he refused to accept gravitational waves, exactly, because this Mercury thing, what we download from the 12th house, the in Gemini, is in conjuncting the science. Like you have a scientific, you discover something, but you're like, no, it can't be. This is so lovely. So gravitational waves transport energy as gravitational radiation. Pluto radiation, of course. Gravitational radiation. Yeah, this is so Pluto. It's just Pluto. It doesn't need anything more. It's just Pluto. A form of radiant energy similar to electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic radiation, that would probably be, it's not yes, it's Uranus. Gravitational radiation, Pluto, electromagnetic radiation, Uranus. And Newton Newton's law of universal gravitation. I don't know if I've looked at Newton. Um, Part of classical mechanics does not provide for their existence. Yes, Newton was looking at things in his particular way. He was very good in observation of what is, but then you didn't have, he was not so much. He was observing reality as it is, so he was concluding on mechanics, basically. That was his great contribution. He also did mathematics, of course, but there was a lot of observation and a lot less cosmology. Um, okay. The law predicted on the assumption that physical interactions propagate instantaneously, showing one of the ways in the methods classical physics are unable to explain phenomena associated with relativity. Okay, I know this does require something, but I wanted to focus on the astrology of the discovery of gravitational waves, so it's not a me explaining you physics video. So I will skip that. You can absolutely, call me in to look into that, and I will do it. This is what there is a comment section. Please just make sure that I am live, right? Yes, I am. I don't want to be doing that offline. So, first, indirect evidence. Mind you, Albert Einstein offered experiments that will prove or refute his theories. That was special about Einstein. He was not just coming up with a theory, he was designing an experiment that would refute his theory. I'm not going to look into his chart and delineate that now. But here, actual evidence for gravitational waves came in 1974. How? Remember yesterday's video? Technology. Okay? So, observed orbital decay. When I see orbital decay, it's like when something is turning, then it turns slowly and slowly and slowly. So that, I believe, is the orbital decay of the Hall-Taylor binary pulsar. So pulse, which match the decay predicted by general relativity, okay, by Einstein theory, as energy is lost to gravitational radiation. Okay, what was it explaining, right? We know about friction in physics and how friction makes it so easy, so annoying for us to computate velocity because there is a decay of the energy. So just about, think about rotation. So, things in space, they rotate, and then they can rotate. Their speed of rotation can alter. So where does the energy go, right? We know energy only transmutes, it doesn't go anywhere. I don't know if that's true. Um, but, that was the conception, and that still is, I believe. So, where would energy be? Like, where did it go? It is lost to gravitational radiation. Okay, so something turning, and then it forms these gravitational waves, and gravitational, it has radiation, it radiates, it radiates gravity, okay? It radiates gravity. I can see why Einstein didn't accept it. It radiates gravity, and then, this radiation turns into gravitational waves, and those waves are another form of energy that does create, ruptures in the space-times or disturbs the space-time. And we see it as matter. So 1974, we have a technology that observes the phenomena. Let's look at 1974. 1974. 1974. Not 93. There it is. 1974. Let's look. So technology, wait, I'm not looking. Technology, what would that technology be? What would I like to see there? Why am I getting Uranus, Neptune? Uranus, Neptune. A technology that allows us to observe that which was not observable. Of course, Uranus, Neptune. That's good enough, but there will be a Pluto thing, but Pluto, I would expect it to be in an air sign. I think I might be wrong there, or having to do with either, either Saturn, because it's ruling Aquarius, or Uranus. Let's look. Pluto in an air sign in Libra. Okay. So in an air, yeah, so New Balance. New Balance. So in an air sign in Libra. Okay, this is not telling me anything. Those are small transitions. And Uranus in Libra. Okay, so Uranus and Pluto are in the same sign. Uranus in an air sign. Libra is ruled by Venus. Libra is an air sign, so the air aspect of voice, uh, the air and sciencey discovery, and yes, Uranus trining Saturn. Saturn is an air sign. Where's Neptune? Where's Neptune? Neptune sextile Pluto. Oh, this was already the Neptune sextiling Pluto era. Just been sextiling forever. Neptune sextile Pluto. Neptune in Sagittarius. Ooh, so grand aspirations for this Neptune. Um, 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 um. So this was the year when we will have a technology that translates space frequencies or gravitational frequencies as voice frequencies. Where is, well, Venus is not going to tell me where is Venus. I need Venus at the time of the discovery. Um, yeah, this Neptune in Sag. Neptune in Sag. Neptune in Sag. I don't know. Neptune sextile Pluto. Like, yeah, Neptune in Sag, so, grand theories about space. Legit. Technology in Libra, so technology that can actually translate waves into sound, something audible. Um, mm, 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 mm. Pluto, yeah. Well, sciencey theories like space theory, the way we perceive. Oh my gosh! I mean, think like from many theories, many cosmologies, many new cosmologies. Um, I was trying to do the holographic thing a couple of months ago. I don't know. Neptune. It's difficult to delineate the transit that you're already in, because I was born there. Not then, huh? Not then. Um, Neptune sextile in Pluto. It's still on, so I'll still see it in other charts. But yeah, that was so much for this chart. Now let's go to recent years, because recent years. Still 1993. Sorry, 1993, and I don't have the chart of these guys because it's going to be way too many charts. They received the Nobel Prize for this discovery. Oh, they were the guys that came up with this Taylor binary pulsar. They did the work, and they received the Nobel Prize. I don't care about that. I mean, they do. It's good, but this is a Nobel Prize. Like, maybe if I'll do Nobel Prizes, it doesn't tell me about gravitational waves, just about honors, which is good. It's nice, I would want a Nobel Prize if I discovered that. Um, First direct observation of gravitational waves was in 2015. Do you remember that? I do. And I already know there was a Pluto Uranus trine or square. There was a Pluto Uranus square around that time. So I already know. So let's look at 2015, where we actually heard it. Num, 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 num. They were checking pulse. Never mind. 1980, no, 1993. Yeah. When my body like picked this already. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, we just decide how we move. I decide how we move. No, we all decide how we move. We are your body. Um, okay, Pluto Scorpio. This is already the Pluto Scorpio generation, very, very recent. Not seeing it making this is a chart, of the year, so um okay, Uranus here is still in Capricorn, so we don't have the square. We'll have the square when Uranus will be in Aquarius, so it's not squaring yet. Um, Very interesting. Am I doing the same? Yes, 1993. Oh, of course, because I'm looking at 1993. No. Okay, so this was the Nobel Prize year. Meh, I don't see anything. Is it like okay, Uranus technologies to do with the space thingy? Okay, the I don't know. I would need the date of the Nobel Prize thingy. 2015. 2015. Let's just take a look at 2015. I knew this was. Yes. Pluto. Oh my gosh. The Taurus this year? Well, we predicted a lot of technologies, blah, 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 blah. And that was a Uranus. That was recent, 2015. The Pluto square Uranus. And we had the North Node there. And oh, wow. Wow, I think it was around Aries as well. Huh? Everybody remembers 2015. So Uranus. Okay. So a new technology, innovative new scientific theories. Pluto in Capricorn materializing something. So technology materializes. Where's Venus? Like, okay, it doesn't matter where's Venus because that's the year. I would need the date of the discovery because that one is interesting. I might do a separate video. Um, so, yes, this conjunction, okay? Definitely new technologies, definitely new findings, definitely something that revolutionizes our way of thinking about something. Um, and Pluto in Capricorn, again, the structure of matter. So the structure of matters, a technology that, but we have the square. Square is a tension point. And where's Neptune? Where's Neptune? Already in Pisces, no longer sextile in Pluto. Um, we had here a conjunction of Neptune and Mars, which will be significant, but I don't know if it was particularly significant for this discovery. We do have this Saturn in Sagittarius. Saturn. Ooh, this is interesting. Saturn in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is also theories. So Saturn there is practicality. So Saturn can make an innovative theory more accepted. Um, and then it would depend, if the person would have like Sagittarius in the ninth house or Sagittarius even in the third house, and with Saturn there, so it and then the good links, it would mean that would be the theorist who manages to convince the scientific community that gravitational waves are a thing. Yeah. Neptune in Pisces, so Neptune at home. I don't have like the Decanian accuracy, but yeah, I don't have Decanian accuracy, which could add flavor to this. Not going to try to do that now because I don't really know the Dickens well. Um, yeah, I'll get your book out. So I'm trying to think about this tension between Uranus and Pluto. It could be a tension, like a friction, like this new technology that is developed. There can be difficulties, or there can be like the conservatives maybe do not accept it, or people don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's an interpretation thingy. Um, because there is a tension here, you know, big tension. Pluto was on my Jupiter. Ah, whatever. So definitely a big year, big timing, definitely a big moment here. This I did, you know, I accidentally, yeah, I will save that. 20 January 2015. Yeah. But this technology is liberating something to do with the Pluto. The technologies discovered there, this new science he discovers, they are liberating something about, um, liberating something that the Pluto entities, or like the regime, or like the conservatives don't like to accept. It's like refuting that. It's refuting something. Anybody, now in relation to gravitational waves, anybody that thought this is not real, this new technology comes in and refutes that. Um, you know, I can't ignore the sextile to Mercury, Venus in Aquarius. I don't know when was the discovery made, so I would need to look at that. But this is definitely a technology that is in tension with how people perceived, you know, power, and how people perceived matter. 2015 was also, you know, the power of social media. No, no, this is not that one. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Technology of war. Yeah. Technology of war that alters power relations between states. Absolutely something to look into. Um, okay, 2017, but wait, what with 2017? And let's go back. We're almost done. Yeah. 2017, Nobel Prize, direct detection of gravitational waves. Okay, so they got the prize in 2017, but I want the LIGO. Oh my gosh, do you remember LIGO? When a signal generated in the merger of the two black holes received by LIGO. Yeah, that's 2015. That's the LIGO thingy that everyone was talking about. So a signal generated by the merger of two black holes um, was received by LIGO, gravitational wave detector, and that was translated into sound, if I'm not mistaken. So you could hear the sound of space thingy. 2017. Okay, so 2017, these guys just got the prize for what happened in 2017, in 2015. Um, so, yeah. Let's just take a slight look at 2017, because 2017, like the prize, can be important only in the sense that, wait, 2017, um, only in the sense of acceptance of a theory in the scientific discourse. So it received the prize, so you know somebody accepted it, right? Um, 2017, meh. Pluto still in Capricorn. Where's Uranus? In Aries. Not mad. Oh, yes, it's still a lot. It's still the squaring. It's still square. It's releasing the square with Pluto. Um, Neptune at home in Pisces. Not doing very much. Yeah, it is the aftermath of the square with Pluto, but still in square. So, you know, Uranus goes on to. It's like the aftershocks of an explosion. Definitely was in my personal life, but yeah. It's like there was like this big explosion, and then the aftermath of this explosion. But the aftermath of this explosion was already predicted. It was like already, you know, the Rahu there were probably eclipses involved with these discoveries. But now it's like, okay, everybody, people are like given a Nobel Prize, they're accepting this. Um, and it was a technology that helped gravitational waves to develop. Now, I want to look at Pluto in Aquarius. So let's say 2023 chart. Poof. 2023 natal chart. This is how I do it, so you can also see how I research. It's all those things that if I did in the background, I will never have the patience to show you. So I'm doing it right now, and you see it online. Okay, I'm just looking at the data. This is January, but I want to look at. Let's try to look at May. Where is Pluto? I want Pluto back in Aquarius. I want him already. Yes, Pluto is back in Aquarius. And. Ooh, beautiful date. So Pluto is back in Aquarius here, and it will be. Oh my gosh, 21 of May. Look at this North Node Jupiter conjunction square in Pluto. Ooh, yeah. So definitely new theories. Of course, it's children stuff, protecting the children because it's also children. Um, yeah, from pedophilia, blah blah blah. Ooh, never mind. I'm excited about this. But this is Jupiter, North Node, squaring Pluto. So, Jupiter, a new thought, a new philosophy of matter, a new philosophy of matter, not because of Mercury here, but because of the North Node, though Mercury does not, yeah. New philosophy of matter, thinking about matter, a new philosophy of matter uh, is actually um, new philosophy of matter, a new thought about power. Oh, yeah, this is not the technology right here. I mean, yes, Uranus is in Taurus, but it's not making anything much here. A new philosophy of matter. Some new philosophy of matter. A new view of matter. But it is, there will be the powers, like the power forces of an Aquarius. Science, of course! Sorry. Oh, my rage. Science. The scientific community. So the scientific community, the power of the scientific community, are not willing to accept this new philosophy of matter. But this is where Rahu is. So these guys are actually bringing in the new. But it is like, oh, it's like the philosophers are like, not the philosophers, the scientists versus philosophers of matter. Philosophy of physics versus, the people that thought just like a no philosophy of physics that people would treat as, no, you just, no, we don't accept that. It's Pluto like, no, this is not true. This is like bogus. Oh, these new thinkers are like, who are they think they are? And but these new thinkers are actually true. And we've already had the North Node Uranus conjunction, right, this year. So the technology that will prove these theories was already made. Okay, it will already not at the second, but the discoveries to make the technology to predict these was already made. So this is a lost fight there for Pluto. Um, like yeah, and think about it. For me, it's in the 12th, so it is in the house where I think about space, and so I will definitely have a reconstruction of how I think about cosmology there, because for me Aquarius is in the 12th and Saturn is in the 9th. So definitely completely transforming from the core how we think about space. And this beautiful, I just got this by chance. I just looked at the 2023 year. So this is something happening here where There is a new insight into space, but it's not just insight. Insight is Mercury. It's an actual thesis. Okay, someone makes an actual thesis. It's an actual thesis, perhaps to do with what was discovered in the Uranus North Node conjunction. And this is very much unnerving, maybe even to the scientist itself, right? Because I was getting gravitational waves, gravitational waves, gravitational waves. I'm like, okay, okay, but they discovered them already. So what is it? I don't know. But let's look at the other stuff. Neptune will be on my ascendant. Follow this channel. I don't know. Follow this. Neptune will be on my ascendant. Neptune is something that involves you. Uh, Follow my channel. I will continue making theories, and who knows? People will say, oh, this person is like, what are they talking about? Or maybe I will say, what am I talking about? Like I'm saying now, what am I talking about? But this is interesting. Um, yeah, so Neptune in Pisces, not making anything much. Saturn in Pisces, it is in my first house. Um, Sextiling Mercury, but this means that it will sextile, before that it will sextile the North Node. So structure of that which, structure of the cosmos. Saturn is supporting this formation about this new theory about the structure of the cosmos. Structure, Saturn in Pisces will definitely help structurizing that which we don't have structure of. I'm thinking also about channeling. Like, what am I channeling? What is this intuition thingy? What the raggedy is it? So Saturn can, now I'm having it in my 12th house, but Saturn in Pisces. Okay, so why was I getting gravitational waves for Pluto in Aquarius if gravitational waves were already discovered? Oh, okay. First of all, there's a micro and micro to gravity. This is the part where you should be watching. Okay, my name is Shirley Youngblood, okay? This is online, right? Anything you do with that, if you take that into your, stuff, I wouldn't mind that. I would just quote you and quote and show me, right? So, yeah, okay, make my theories viral. What are we talking about? The gravitational waves of what? Of planets. This is the macro level. Okay? What is the micro level? What else can produce mini tiny gravitational waves? People, crystals, objects, anything that has a mass also have a gravitational wave. But let's go even crazier. What about those things that don't exist in the physical? Those things that we can't deconstruct in the physical. We can deconstruct air into molecules or water into molecules, but what about, channeling Abraham Hicks? What if what if those entities make gravitational waves, and what if we can actually measure them into sound? Venus. What if we can measure the sound of the consciousness that we are communicating? It's not, yes, it's, for channelers, sometimes the voice alters. For me, if I think about something, my mannerism alters, but I'm weird. And we already know that there are different wave frequencies in the brain, but what if we could actually have a technology that channels something? Not just, that which we can see, but also that which does not exist in matter. What if we could have what is channeling? It's a technology of giving voice to what does not what does not exist here in the physical form. Okay, talking with dead people. Okay, they're not here in the physical form. Maybe there's some other place, I don't know, but channeling them is giving voice to that. It's sort of a technology where we translate something that is not of the physical into something that we can see in the physical. So how something that is not in the physical becomes something that is in the physical, a technology that can observe that. Of course, there are the pros and cons of all these things and what they can do, but we are these technologies. Um, so I'm thinking that, and of course, I can see anything sciencey would be like, what? This is an abuse of everything that was discovered and whatnot. But who knows? And so we can look at the gravity pull of something, gravity pull of an idea. We might give the ability to record that. So we can do that by channeling, but there can also be technologies that can give you like the wave frequency. I know that there are people who already have technologies to measure like the frequency of a certain era or general people in the certain era. Lada Duncheva in Astrology channel, she did an interview not long ago about this couple who has this a technological device that measures the frequency of a certain era, certain times, certain generations, and then it was interesting to listen to. It's definitely something that anybody who is conservative scientifically would go, huh? Oh my gosh, I need to clean this coffee. But that was interesting, and and the effect of that gravitational pull on our nervous system. So how our nervous system is actually affected or afflicted by gravitational pull. That means, for example, things like psychic attack. If a person or projection or share dreams or anything we have like in the energy that you share a dream with someone or that somebody affects somebody else's dream space, we might have a technology that is able to observe that, and it will no longer be spiritual talk, but it will be an actual political talk or an actual day-to-day interference. And then these technologies, of course, would have implications of, it would give structure to that which is not yet, not yet conceived. Um, so this is what I can come up with on how do we use gravitational waves, because gravitational waves, it means that the object, the body has a gravity pull, and that spiritual people always say this gravity pull, this gravity, it's like the intuitive. In the next 20 years we'll actually have a technology that observes that gravity pull, and that will completely transform the scientific discourse um, in this way, because this will be technology that allows us to observe things. But still, because this is why an outer planet travels so long within a sign. It's going to take some 20 years to get used to that. It's going to take some 20 years to get used to those things. It's and on the more physical matter level, it can be the how the gravity pull of different objects, even here on Earth, is having an effect on our gravitational field. Okay. Um, I'm trying to think about the concretely physical. Well, medicine, it can mean that the gravity pull of a different, area or different object can affect your own stress levels, not just not from psychological person, but how condensed your body is, how light your body is. We've already been looking at how we are less heavy or more heavy in the morning, but we might look deeper into that, or it might begin to materialize. My cat is signaling me to finish the video. So this is my prediction for gravity waves and what we're going to do with them. Neptune is going into Aries, so yes, that can be technologies that will be used in the battlefield. But unfortunately, this is only how people accept things. Not only, but yeah. And Uranus will eventually, be moving into Gemini, and then Cancer, and then Leo, I think, while Pluto is still in Aquarius. So, shitload of technology. Um, yeah, shitload of technology with politics. Um, yes, yes. And also because Neptune is going to go to Aries, it's going to mean that in the battling of opinions, there would be less boundaries between the opponents. I can think about the funny. I think I told that there was a funny situation at the escalation in Israel where Arabs and Jews were fighting, but because we look so much alike, some Arabs wanted to hit someone and then he was Arabic, and vice versa. It happened on both sides, and it was like ridiculous. But it can contribute to put into ridicule war because war relies on having opponents, and Neptune dissolves the boundaries between opponents. So it's like, or the war can be because of the dissolved boundaries between people. That can also be like you're too close, and then you try to separate yourself. Yeah, but this is going to. It can also be an ideation of war, but yeah, it can be the boundaries between nations can completely change. But here I'm getting political. So yes, I believe this video has come to an end. I'm Tali here on Twitter, Shirley Youngblood on Instagram. I am currently trying to have like a TikTok. I need to evacuate some space in my cell phone for that. I was thinking to do like sciencey TikTok astrology thingies. I don't know. Who knows? And I'll see you on my next video. I do readings, so you can contact me for that. Don't have any like special web page or something. Just contact me on PM. But you contact me, right? I don't contact you. If somebody contacts you and says this is Shirley Youngblood, or this is the nude astrologer, ditch them. It's like I'll never do that. So yes, there it is. Gravitational waves for Pluto in Aquarius.